Cam Newton and Chiefs practice squad quarterback Jordan Ta'amu tested positive for the COVID-19. Meanwhile, the NFL is investigating the Titans for violating coronavirus protocols. And since their game with the Vikings last week, 20 members of the Titans organization have tested positive for the coronavirus, including 10 players. So before they can reopen their training facilities, they need consecutive clear days of testing. So there is still a lot to be figured out here. For more, let me bring in my insider, Dan Graziano. Dan, what is the latest that we are hearing as the Patriots get prepared to play this game tonight in Kansas City?
Yeah, being told this morning, Greeny, that the Patriots got good news on their testing overnight, that everything came back negative, which means that they are cleared to go off to Kansas City and play this game tonight, assuming the same news comes in from the Kansas City side. And so far, we haven't heard anything from that end to be concerned about. Then I would expect this game to go off as scheduled right now at 7:05 p.m. Eastern tonight. Patriots are on different buses going to two different airports to take two different planes to Kansas City for this game, so they're being as careful as they possibly can. But what they needed before getting the go-ahead to leave this morning was all those test results coming back negative, which they have.
Yeah, it's fascinating, actually. If you read into the details, they have the players who have been in close proximity to Cam Newton on one plane and those who have not on the other. So, Dan, I'm sure many are wondering, why does the league find it appropriate to go forward with this game tonight after postponing it for only one day?
Well, they feel like they've taken the appropriate precautions, right? I mean, like, look, they've identified a positive test. They've isolated him. He's not going. They've identified his close contacts. They have kept them under, strict surveillance and tested them, and they feel as confident as they can that they aren't infected. They're not showing symptoms. If someone who had been in close contact with Cam Newton was showing symptoms, then that person would be isolated and probably would not be going on this trip either. So it really is a case of the league feeling like its protocols are in place and working, and what they've seen is individual positive tests in both these cases. They haven't seen a flowering of positive tests like they've seen in Tennessee, so they feel like they're okay to go ahead with the game tonight.
Dianna, what can you tell us about what both the players and the Chiefs, the Patriots, everyone needed to do today in order to ensure that this game is played tonight?
Yeah, there's certainly a big sigh of relief around the league today that all those COVID tests came back negative this morning and the game is going to be played. Should land here in Kansas City around 12 o'clock Eastern time. They'll have just a few hours at the hotel. They'll get a quick nap in, get a meal, and I was told they'll have a quick meeting, and then they'll head over here to Arrowhead Stadium where they'll get ready for a 6 o'clock local time kick. In terms of the vibe with the New England Patriots over the last 24 hours, I've been in touch with players, talking with them over the phone, over text message, and there was certainly some concern that perhaps that they were taking too much of a risk here, knowing that what has happened down in Tennessee, a lot of the problems there stem from the fact that that team went on a plane and traveled. But today, quite a different feel in New England with the players I spoke to this morning after they found out that those tests came back negative. They were getting ready to go on the plane, and I can tell you, the space they're in now is game time. Way more about winning this game against the Super Bowl champs than it is about being concerned about possibly having COVID.
It's such a big game in so many different ways, and Dianna will be there all day covering it for us. Dianna Russini, outstanding. Thank you very much. Let me bring it to the table here. And Rex, I will start with you, because you look at a circumstance where, again, the Patriots are, as we speak, flying to Kansas City for a game that'll be played tonight. They're going to play with Brian Hoyer as their starting quarterback instead of Cam Newton. So one would look at that and suggest they have no chance whatsoever to win. What would you say?
The Patriots have the greatest coach in the history of our game, Bill Belichick. So that's going to give him a chance. I mean, he'll have his team ready to go like he always does. And when you have the best coach, you got a chance.
So you give them a chance to win this game tonight.
Yep.
Can I tell you who doesn't? Las Vegas doesn't. The Patriots are a 10.5-point underdog tonight. That is the biggest underdog that a New England team has been since the Super Bowl, the very first one that started everything, the Super Bowl against the Rams, when they wound up winning. That's the last time they were a bigger underdog than they are tonight. What will they have to do, Dan? What will Hoyer have to do, and what will the Patriots have to do to have any chance whatsoever to win tonight?
Defensively, they'll have to play flawless football. Belichick will have to call a flawless game. They'll have to change their man coverage a ton to give them a chance. And then offensively, this is the #1 rushing attack in the NFL. Now, part of that is because of Cam Newton, but they will have to hold on to the football. In the only games that Mahomes has lost in the NFL, teams run more plays than he does, meaning that they minimize the amount of snaps that the Chiefs get, and they hold on to the football. So this run game will have to be dominant. They'll have to be situationally perfect. I would imagine going for it on some fourth downs. It sounds great. I don't think they have any chance to win, Green.
Archie, let me talk to you about this because, I mean, football players are such creatures of habit to have to go so far away from what you're accustomed to. Again, traveling on game day, which teams, it's not unprecedented, but it happens very rarely. And going up against, oh, by the way, maybe the best team in the NFL. Give me a sense of how you think this plays out.
That would be extremely difficult to me. I wasn't necessarily superstitious as I was regimented, that I wanted my schedule to be a certain way on game day and also throughout the week. And so in preparation for this game, there's been a lot of curveballs thrown at the New England Patriots. And so for them, they're going to have to start early. They're going to have to find a way to have early success against the Kansas City Chiefs because we are all human. And so if the game starts a terrible way, if Brian Hoyer throws an interception, or if defensively you're not as sharp as you're used to being, you start to think about your schedule. You start to think about the different things that have led up to this game. And now you start to overcompensate. You start to try a little hard, squeeze the bat a little bit much. And so for the New England Patriots, this is going to be about making sure they stay true to their game plan, true to themselves, run the football, play good defense early, and don't let this game get away from them. I think if they could stay in the fight early on in the game, now you give the greatest head coach of all time an opportunity to scheme some things up that might help you win this game.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.